And hello and good morning. We are live on Boles TV, BOLES.TV. Oh, I forgot to turn on my lights. Well, now I'm going to put this back on. I'll leave the microphone on so you can hear all the fun as I get into terrible positions trying to get this lighted up. Even if it doesn't light up. Oh, one of them doesn't want to light. What else is new? Welcome to the show. Hello. Oh, now it's off. Now it's on. Now it's off. Now it's on. Come on now. It doesn't look on. They're all three on. This one is our problem. Doesn't want to stay. It's always a problem. Put in brand new batteries, it will be a problem. Well, it's Monday, but it's Tuesday. It is Tuesday. We were off yesterday celebrating the 20-year employment anniversary of Jana Marie. And we had a wonderful time, busy time. You almost need a vacation from your celebration. And one of the interesting things that I discovered the hard way was that I wanted to order a couple of surprise things for the little celebration. From Whole Foods, right? Now, I've learned during the pandemic, Whole Foods has a very strange ordering system. Their delivery slots are not there for the entire day. They come and they go, it appears, at different times of day, depending when you log in. Now, during the pandemic, you had to wake up at 4 a.m, fight for a slot, use an automated bot that would search for available delivery slots, and you take whatever showed up. But the problem with the bot is it would refresh the page every 60 seconds or every 57 seconds, 49 seconds, whatever you'd set it to, so it didn't look like a bot. And if it found a slot, you had another 60 seconds on the Amazon side to accept that slot or not. So while you didn't have to sit here for 4 hours clicking refresh, because the bot would do it for you, you did have a problem if you were in the bathroom or not paying attention or watching television. Gordon says it was the Hunger Games. Exactly what it was. And I beat my pharmacist friend whose wife was doing the same thing, but she didn't know about the bot. And then you had to accept that you were taking that slot or it would just move on and you would miss the slot. And if you missed that and it reset, you would never know that you missed a slot. And it was about 80% successful, starting at 4 a.m. But if you were trying to do this like after 6 a.m. when the rest of the world was up, you would not get delivery that day. And now I've learned that if you want something special, let's say from the deli, that's a special kind of vegan vegetable something, the deli doesn't really open until 9 a.m. Gordon says, were you wiping down all of your groceries with wipes for a while when you bought them in the house? We would wipe down boxes, but I don't think we ever did food, although we probably should have. Not a bad thing, because for a long time we thought that coronavirus could stay alive on any surface for 72 hours. Now some people say this Omicron can last for 3 days and longer on any surface. Other people say, oh, pshaw. So I know that the deli and the things that I want for the party opens at 9, but I need a delivery slot before like 2 because she has to go teach. So I thought, okay, so you don't know what delivery slot you're going to get till you check out. So I went and ordered everything. And there was a delivery slot for like 1 p.m. I thought, okay, it's perfect. Because I know from direct experience that when you order something from Whole Foods, they start shopping for you about half an hour before the delivery window. So for us, that would be like they'd start shopping at 12:30. The delivery window is between 1 and 2. They would deliver around 1:30. Big party, big fun, excellent. So I'm up and I'm searching for what to get and certain things for the party. And I know that half of them are not going to be available till after 9 in the morning. But I don't want to start my order after 9 in the morning because then I might not get a slot before 2 o'clock. So it's 5:30 in the morning. And usually when you're ordering things, so I ordered everything, got everything, checking out, right? And I see the delivery slots that are available. And there's one for 1 o'clock. Perfect. There's one for 10 and 11. But some of them have caution flags saying, well, if you pick this time slot, these things are not in stock yet. And it's usually the fresh stuff from the deli, because I guess the deli people don't come in until 8 in the morning. Okay. So I don't pick one of those slots. I pick the guaranteed slot that everything will be in stock 1 p.m. Fine. Place the order. And it's sort of a big order. And half an hour later, at 6 a.m., for a 1 p.m. delivery, I get a notification. Hey, your Amazon shopper has started working on your order. And that has never, ever happened before. Ever. Never, ever have they started working on an order to be delivered 7 hours later. Never. So my first thought was like, oh no, it's going to be sitting in a refrigerated truck or something for 6 hours. That's gross. That's not good for fresh fruits and vegetables. To be in a paper bag or a plastic bag for that long, I don't like that. And then the horror swept over me as almost immediately I started getting pings from my shopper saying, this is out of stock. This is out of stock. Would you like to replace it with this and that? And I'm thinking, oh no, the Abe's vegan birthday celebration cake, not in stock. The deli stuff, not in stock. And I thought, oh, it's not 9 o'clock in the morning yet, so the deli stuff isn't ready. I thought they were going to start shopping at 12:30. Not 6 in the morning. So I'm horrified. So I'm replying. I'm denying everything. All substitutes. Denied. I said, please, stop working on this order. Cancel the order, please. I don't know why you're starting shopping for a 1 p.m. delivery at 6 in the morning. This has never happened before. Please stop. And they're not responding, and they're still sending me stuff. Do you want this? No, decline, replacement. I know all the stuff I know I want is not in stock because it's 6 o'clock in the morning. So I'm typing in capitals. I'm taking screenshots. I'm saying, please respond. Please stop this. I'm taking screenshots. I can cancel this when the driver is on his way. I can to the driver and say cancel, and it'll go back. Please stop. Finally. I get one text message saying, once the order started, it can't be canceled. So they're going to keep shopping. Now, Whole Foods does this in a very terrible way now, where they now charge you a delivery fee, at least where we are, which is about $15 on top of everything else. But it was a party. Plus, you have to tip the driver. And the drivers are terrified because they think this new delivery fee, people are going to think is their tip. And because I'm in all those forums, I know that I have to tip the driver. So the driver is tipped for this small order, $10. They suggested $7, I put up $10. So right there, off the top, before one thing is delivered, I'm $25 into this. And I don't want $25 worth of boxes of crackers, which is all that I think was in stock for what I ordered. It's not worth it to me. So I said, well, you can't cancel, how do I cancel? And they said, you have to call customer service. I said, what's the phone number? And the shopper said, I don't have the phone number. I'm done working on your order, closed. I thought, oh no. Now, I have been able to cancel Whole Foods before, I remembered, because they missed a delivery window at night. They were supposed to come like 7 o'clock at night, which I learned my lesson. Don't have a night delivery from Whole Foods. And they were going to come the next morning like at 10 a.m. I said, I don't like that everything that I'm ordering is in some kind of refrigeration, so cancel. And they were able to cancel. So I looked and found the phone number. So I called the phone number. Auto man answers the phone. What order? What's the problem? I'll take care of it for you. And I just kept saying representative. After about the 10th time of responding to him with representative, I was connected to a live person. And I have to say, this person that I spoke with was super friendly, never challenged me. What's wrong with you? Nothing like that. Listened to me. Shocking, I know. Helped me. Shocking, I know. And Amazon used to be that way 5 years ago. They were there at your service, especially if you were a reliable, good customer like we are. But like the last year and a half, they've just been terrible. Rude, obnoxious, don't understand English, pretend they don't understand English. I know that sounds terrible, but when you're specifically speaking to them about something and they're purposefully twisting it to be exactly the opposite of what you're saying, you think something's up because they don't want to understand you. But that was not the case yesterday. This woman was very helpful. I said, please look at the order and you'll be able to see the chat. And I said, this is for a party, and all these things that I need for the party are not in stock because I know it's not 9 a.m. And I could hear her say, I see. Okay. So I knew she was reading the chat. So that I knew protected me. And she said, well, I have to talk to a supervisor to see how to cancel this because I'm not exactly sure what to do. I said, okay. And I thought, oh no. This is not going to be good. But then about 2 minutes later, she came on and said, okay, it's canceled. And I got an email right after she said that, said your order is canceled. And I went on Amazon and looked. And the order, canceled, completely disappeared from my account, which I don't think is really proper. I think if you cancel an order, it should remain in your account and say canceled. Because my plan was to try to maybe redo the order later in the day and have it delivered if the credit card authorization fell off. But of course it didn't, and that takes 5 to 7 to 10 days to fall off. Even if Amazon tells the credit card company, okay, take it off, the credit card company won't take it off because they're worried about overcharging and double charging and getting ripped off. So I knew that was stuck. But at least the order was canceled. It didn't show up. Everything is safe. We sort of had a secondary party. Wasn't great, as I wanted it to be, but Janet Marie was very happy. She's just happy she made it to 20 years. And so am I. But here's the interesting thing is, you work for a state government for a certain amount of time, and there are lots of benefits. Unionization. You can work from home a little bit. Not every day, like Commissioner Gordon in Florida, but a few days every pay period, which is very, very, very helpful. And then you teach, let's say, for a major university for over 25 years, nonstop, spring, summer, fall, for 25 years, 5 to 6 classes a year, and you don't get one hello. You get zero acknowledgement. You get no support. You're treated unkindly and unfairly. And that's a union job, but the university doesn't care. Because adjuncts in a university system, as I've written before and done a podcast on, are dispensable. There is no value to the adjunct of the university. And the adjunct knows that, and so does the union. And that's why they don't mind playing hardball with the university, because the university doesn't care. The university is there to serve full-time faculty, worry about their reputation in the marketplace. And adjuncts don't bring any value other than teaching. And many of these major schools adjuncts teach 76% of the undergraduate courses. So the kids who are paying all this money to go to these expensive schools are being taught 76% of the time by an adjunct. An adjunct that is not appreciated and is treated terribly by the university. But oh boy, if you're an administrator at this university and you've been there for 5 years or 10 years, oh boy, then you get awards, then you get flowers, you get people encouraging you, hey, send them a note of congratulations. Whereas the longtime serving faculty, who are all adjuncts, look at each other and say, I've been here 10 years, I've been here 20. I'm over 35 years teaching here, and they've never once sent out an email or sent me a flower. It's a terrible thing, but what can you do? You can't make them care because they don't care. They don't care. So take the money and run. And unfortunately, a lot of these adjuncts who were asked to write letters of recommendation or do extra things or so on and meow, and they don't do it because they don't feel appreciated by the university. And the union has said, look, in this pandemic, as things move forward, the department may ask you to record courses or to broadcast your courses on Zoom or something. And the adjunct union says, do not do it, because our agreement is that's extra work, and you can do it if you're paid by the department. But that doesn't mean the department can't ask you to do it. And if you're not protected by the union because you have to be there for a certain amount of years, what are you going to say? No. You're going to say, of course, my overlord. Whatever you ask me to do, I'll do it because I'm your slave. Because I am an adjunct. And this is not just specific to one school. This is specific to many, many, many schools. Now, smaller schools, state schools, community colleges, they really don't have a lot of full-time faculty, and they know that the adjuncts do a lot of the work, and they are at least acknowledging them, if not appreciative. But the big-name schools want big names on tenure lines, and that's what matters. Professor Gordon says, I just did a report in our faculty database and realize it's probably different because we are a medical college. But of 8,700 active faculty and non-faculty academic staff, 605 are adjuncts. Yeah. And I'm sure that's because it's a medical school. And it's hard to find adjuncts who can, teach medicine because they want professional people. But if you ask, the Ivy League schools that have undergraduate programs, see, the graduate students are all taught by the faculty because that's where the faculty wants to teach. They want to teach graduate students, other faculty members. But undergraduates are the nothing. And that's why they make the adjuncts teach the undergraduates. Graduate students, they study with full-time faculty. And if you're just a graduate school, you probably don't have a lot of adjuncts. It all depends on the purpose of the program, I guess. So we had our party. It went well. Jen is very happy. And before I get into my next thing, I guess I might as well take a break because I feel an ad break coming up, and the next thing I'm going to talk about is going to take more than a few minutes. So we'll take our break and return in a moment. And we're back from break. I'm David Boles. This is Boles.tv, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern. Live with you. So just to finish my thought about two things. The 76% of undergraduate classes being taught by adjuncts is really a New York City thing. Across America, it seems to be about 46%, which is still almost half the classes being taught by adjuncts. So adjuncts are important, and the reason it's so high in New York City is because they don't have to pay benefits, they can get away with it, and because people are so desperate for money, especially after they graduate and they want to teach, they say, oh well, if you don't want to do it, we'll find somebody else. And it used to be at particular schools, if you wanted to teach, you had to have at least a master's degree. And when I got my master's degree, it was a 3-year program, and now you can get the same sort of, not at my school, but at other schools, a 1-year master's. And now they seem to have dropped that. It's like, well, if you know enough about it, you can teach, which is just shocking to me, because there used to be sort of a level of excellence that was to be expected. But it's not there anymore. And to finish my thought about the Whole Foods thing, so this is the lesson that I learned, and I don't know how to get around it. If you need something from the deli, place your order. You can do your cart at 6 a.m., 5:30 a.m. like I did, and then hold on to it until after 9 a.m., 9:30 to be safe, 10 if you're really into it. And then place your order, because then you know the deli is open. And if the shopper starts shopping for you immediately, it's okay, because the deli's open. They're not shopping for you 6 hours before they deliver. But the risk in that is that you're not going to get a delivery slot that day, because they come and go. You might get there. I've gone there at 6 in the morning, tried to get a delivery slot for the morning. It's not available till the afternoon. And then I wait 4 hours and go back, and there's a delivery slot in 5 minutes. So it's really a weird, strange game that Whole Foods plays logistically with preserving orders and delivering things. It's very bizarre. That's why you have to be very open-ended. For a 2-hour delivery window, you pay $9. For a 1-hour delivery window, you pay $15. And sometimes, because you have no money, you pay $15. Which is a take on our old joke that Howard Steinsow taught me at Columbia University. David, you have no money. You can't afford cheap shoes. That we have recently applied to Commissioner Gordon. Gordon, you have no money in your F wallet. Don't pick the cheapest gas fee. And we know that was a computer thing with the Sabbath, so don't yell at me about that. It was all a misunderstanding with the computers. Now, here's an interesting thing that I have been given by permission by Jan Marie to speak about. And when I updated our stream today, the stream title did not update. It is updated, so I was able to update it. It said Jan Marie. Okay, so this is what happened. We were talking about favorite things. And I have permission to do a little ASL lesson. 1, 2, 3, right? That's how you do 1, 2, and 3 in ASL. Not 1, 2, 3, because this is a W. And it's all about disambiguation when it comes to hand shapes. Now, there are some hand shapes that just are the same thing, the W for a 3. It's confusing, but it's not terrible. There's L, then you flip it like this, and it becomes 21. So I was asking the big boss, who was home today, let's say first, second, third. Oh, okay, so it's this. First, second, and third, right? First, second, third. Okay, right? Yes, we're having a conversation. Now, this is where it gets fun to me, because I obsess over these kind of things. I said, what if I don't know it's first, second, third? or one thing, two thing, three things that I'm talking about. And as I am speaking, excuse me, hopefully intelligently, I am adding these up in my mind as I go, right? So first is this, first, right? Second. Now this, if I'm going to talk to you about two things, first and second, right? But if I say first, it's this finger, first. Second, this finger, because this thumb becomes first. This is second. Huh? Confusing, right? Clever. So if you're trying to be creative and think as you go, well, first of all, second of all, and you have these things, you have your fingers out because you can talk about these things, so that's why you're pointing to what finger? First, second, third. First, second, first, second. First. First. Second. First. First. Now, add three, and this is where we got in the conversation. And we went over and over and over again, and I was right. First, right? Second. Third. First, second, third. 1, 2, 3. Right? Okay. So I'm going to talk about three things. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to talk about two things. 1, 2, 3. Right? First, second. You could do second here, but usually you use thumbs when you're counting. So 1, first, right? First, second, third. And then it goes back. Let me repeat what I just said. First, second, third. American Sign Language. It's both fun and confusing. We might have a test later. I don't know. So I was a little bit late in starting the show today because over the weekend we had trouble with Jan Marie's stream, where it ended every day, each day, Saturday and Sunday at 11:33 p.m. a.m., which means everything froze. Now, we haven't had that for many years. Hey, it's Commissioner Gordon. There was a scene in a movie set in World War II, and an American was attempting to pretend to be German, but was caught out when he held up the wrong three fingers for three, which he did in an American way, not a German way. Yes, that was Inglourious Bastards, I believe, if I'm not getting it wrong, which was wonderful. I thought that was just terrific. And those are the small things you notice. Be very careful. You want to fit in, but not too perfectly. And it was weird because, as was noted by our watchers, Gordon says, "You are not getting it wrong," which I suppose is a roundabout way of saying I am right. Our music stopped, but it's continuing. It always freaks me out. But it's streaming and it's shuffling. So I tried to figure out why her stream was ending at exactly the same time, and so I did a little bit of research. And I remembered that we had trouble sort of like with that in the past. And I was trying to figure out what we did to fix it, and then I remembered. It's so confusing and complicated, but what isn't in this life, right? You can set, when you're broadcasting with Streamlabs to one service like Twitch, or Facebook or YouTube or TikTok. If you're streaming to an individual server, you can pick an ingestion point, INGESTION. And if you don't, then one just kind of gets randomly assigned to you, which can be good and bad, usually, in my experience, bad. Because it's just assigning you a server. Now, if you are multicasting, which we used to do, where we're going to Twitch and Facebook and YouTube at the same time, which we're not allowed to do on Twitch right now, then the Streamlabs ingestion server takes over and says you go here, here, and here, and we'll see what happens. But when we did that, it worked out okay. But when you're just going to Twitch and you have not set your ingestion server, bad things happen. And I realized in trying to figure this out, what happened with Jan Marie is that our ingestion server setup had somehow been lost in probably the multiple upgrades that we have done to this computer, trying to make it work. So there's a program you download and you say, find out my ping and my upload speed and my download speed for this ingestion server, and then I'll pick which one I want to use. So it takes about half an hour because it's going up and down and all around. And then it shows you what percentage of your server is losing and staying intact. And I remember the best ingestion server was Arlington 3. And there's an Arlington 5 as well. But a little bit slower for us than Arlington 3. So I found this, and I did the test, and this is from Twitch itself. Recommended ingestion endpoints for you. And so these are the ones that you use, and there are 10 of them. You would think East New York it would be great, and I have a feeling that's where we get put, but I also think that's somehow what's putting us off at 11:33 on Saturday and Sunday. So I set it up to use ingestion server number 2, which is Ashburn, Virginia 3, not Arlington, Ashburn. And then you have to go set it up in Streamlabs. You have to say, I don't want your server, I want my server. And then you get a stream key from Twitch. And then you copy and paste in this, meow. And then you tell it, that is the only server I want Twitch to connect to. And then it does, and it did, and now we are currently streaming on this ingestion server. And so far, so good. Our upload is very good. We haven't lost any frames yet. And maybe this is just a weird weekend thing where things go all kablooky. But we fixed it so far. And now we're going to hope to continue on and see if this works. And another issue we had over the weekend on the Jan Marie Show is the bots. Our friend Dora was talking about vegetables, and she said, oh, the Italian something something for eggplant is something something de rapa. And the Boles bot attacked her. Said she couldn't comment for 10 seconds, and then proceeded to delete every message that she had posted in the stream. And it said, please refrain from using foul language. And she thinks the bot is me, and it's not really me. It has my name on it, but it's set by these controls we have. And one of the major controls you have in these servers is bad people who try to get around filters for good and bad language. They use for an S the $sign, and sometimes they use foreign words in an English context. So one of the things people can get in trouble for is for using a bad word, a partial bad word. Our friend Ishita has the S word in her name. And Mr. Wick does not like to have her mentioned at all, which I do believe is why in many places she just goes by her business name, Soul Curry Art, because if you mention her name and type it on a Discord server or in a Twitch chat, it's going to be deleted. And it doesn't seem like there's a real easy way to whitelist a name like Ishida. So I guess the Boles Bot Me bot went after our friend Dora because of the word that she typed RAPA, which I believe the bot thought was trying to use a foreign language to get the word RAPE in a conversation that was typed. So she was a little upset, and I was upset, and what can you do? The bot did its thing, and that's what it's supposed to do, because there are bad people in the world who would probably put RAPA, the Italian translation, and stick it in there and say something about a woman or a dog or an animal that they want to RAPA them. Okay, I get it. I don't know how you get around it. Because that's what these bad people do, is they spend all of their days and all of their nights trying to figure out how to get around things. So now I'm going to show you something a little fun that also has to do with the Jana Marie and her delicious, if not delightful, work. Did I show you the ingest servers? This is the ingest server. I thought I'd shown you this. This is what it looks like. So you can pick one, and there's a program that you can download, and it will run on your computer, and it will tell you which one of these is the best one for you to connect to based on where you are, and sometimes the closest server is not the best one for you for whatever weird reason. So this is Steve. This is one of Jana Marie's participants, is what they call them. She helps educate and find jobs for disabled people. And the job can be very rewarding and also very challenging. And every once in a while, you get a spectacular success. Some successes are wonderful, some successes are failures, and some are just totally spectacular. Well, this is Steve. He is a student at NTID, which is the Deaf Institute at Rochester Institute of Technology, National Institute for the Deaf. And Steve is deaf, and he's an engineer. And a lot of people think, oh, deaf people can't do things. Deaf people can, do manual labor. They can fold a shirt. They can clean a pool. They can clean a house. But, anything other than that, well, here's Steve. Superstar student at NTID. And he is now in a summer internship that's paying him a lot of money to be an engineer at Tufts University. And Steve sent this to Jana. He said, hey, look at this. I'm at Tufts, and they're paying me a lot of money. And he had to apply, and he had to be interviewed, and he got in. And Jana said, do you mind if I show this on my live stream and share it with my boss? And Steve said, do whatever you want to do with it. I'm Steve. And here is Steve in his lab. He has his own lab. Undergraduate. Steve. Rochester to Tufts. You can see his RIT, Rochester Institute of Technology t-shirt under his coat. Is doing very interesting work with gases and liquids and all kinds of complicated things. And this is what Steve was working on when he took the pictures. Now, I don't know what any of this means. It looks complicated to me. And it's not something that I could do as an undergraduate or as an intern. So we give big kudos to Steve for standing up and standing out and saying, hey, I may have a little bit of a disability, but that doesn't mean I can't participate and be a very meaningful member of society. Very good, Steve. Now, also, over the weekend, this is our Discord server. And there are a lot of fun things here that people don't know very much about. This keeps popping up. I think this is telling us that you can chat in a voice channel now, which is great. And I like that. But there are also things called slash commands that are interesting, and you can have fun. Like one of them, if you just type in a /, you'll get this from the Boles bot. You can add a song. The Boles bot has music, which I didn't know until the weekend, but I've set up the music now. And it's in the Boles bot hangs out right here in the Boles Blues musical hangout. And there's the bot right there, and you can go into that channel and you can listen to music, but you have to be in a voice channel to listen to music. You can add to the playlist. You can look for animated things. You can ban a member if you have that power. You can set your birthday, so the server will wish you a happy birthday. You can buy things from the shop, but we don't have anything in the shop. But the most fun is I had it, but I lost it. Aha. Start the quiz. Now. I don't think I can do this live on stream because it will start playing music. But what this is, if you go in anytime, 24 hours a day, you go into a voice channel and you type /START-QUIZ, the Boles bot will give you a music quiz. And you can be in there with a bunch of people. Or you can play by yourself. I'm leaving that voice channel and going back to this channel. And this is what it will do. It will give you, there's the quiz. It'll give you a quiz. It will play 15 seconds of song. See if I should just do it, and then I'll have to block off to stop it or something, maybe. It's gonna get me in trouble. So this is what it looks like. The music will start shortly. The game has 15 song previews, 30 seconds per song. You'll have to guess the artist name and the song name.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Now I have to turn this up because I'm going to get in trouble from playing the music. We'll do it this way. Okay. It's off on the stream. Now I have to figure out how to turn it off in my head. Maybe just stop. Music quiz is currently running. Okay, so I don't think you can hear this. Or maybe you can. I don't think you can. No, you can't hear it. How do I stop the quiz? Maybe I'll go back to the other. Okay. Oh my goodness. That was fun, but a little dangerous. And so it'll play these songs, and then you type in Elvis Presley in the ghetto, whatever. And then it will say, yes, you got 1 point, or you got 2 points, you got 3 points. And so I say, okay, I like it. I will do. It's a lot of fun. Now it's just going to play. I guess I've left the room, but it's going to keep playing. So that's okay. We'll just let it play. Your voice has been disconnected because I'm connected in another location. Yes, I'm connected directly to my Discord app and not on the web. So this music quiz is going to play. But you can go in there, start it on your own, play against the computer. You can go in there and play with another person. And at the end, you get prizes. Or medals, whatever they're called. So this is going to be a little bit annoying, but that's okay because, hey, it's a live show. It's what we do. And now it's 10 o'clock. Time for our very brief blood pressure break. And I'm just going to let this play. And if I let it play and there are ads, you're going to miss it. You'll miss all the fun. But if I don't hit the ads are going to... Okay, back in a minute. And we're back from break. David Boles, this is Boles.tv. BOLES.tv. Live and in person, Monday through Friday, right here on your favorite channel. So here we go. This was the end of the quiz. I received 0 points because I couldn't play because I couldn't listen. Now, in my testing, I think the best I ever did was 4 out of 15, which gave me first place because I was playing against myself. But here's the problem. I need a, musical theater quiz from the 1970s, and I'll get 15 out of 15. 1980s, I'll get 13 out of 15. But all this new kid music and all this rapper hip-hop stuff, I don't know any of it. I don't know the names. I can't win. So in this iteration of this game, I'm very fortunate if I get maybe 3. So I can't do any betting because I'll lose everything. But the idea of it is still a lot of fun. And anybody can go in there anytime and just play by themselves. Or invite friends and play against them and find out who wins. Now, I read something interesting on Twitter, which leads us to our next topic of interest. Logged in dudes. Oh. There we are. And I thought it was just the most wonderful quote ever. We are living in a time when smart people have to keep quiet, so stupid people won't feel offended. And I unfortunately agree. I think that's very wise. And I don't know why it's happening, and I don't know why these smart people are playing along. We are living in a time when smart people have to keep quiet so stupid people won't be offended. Leave me in my stupidity. And that would be fine if they said, look, leave me in my stupidity, and it's not harming other people. But I want my rifle, and I'm taking off my mask, and I have the blood of Jesus upon me, and it's not on you, so let's do it. And then we get to this guy. How can you not call him a troll? He has damaged his reputation as the super genius irreparably. Elon Musk threatens to end his Twitter deal without information on fake accounts. Well, the whole reason he was going to buy Twitter was to remove it of its fake accounts and to set it right. And now he's saying, whoa, not so fast. And it's very funny. In a crisp 6-paragraph letter to Twitter on Monday, lawyers for Elon Musk, the world's richest man, made his displeasure known. He just wants to buy it for a cheaper amount of money. Isn't that what this is always all about? Here's the letter. Meow, meow. Ugh. Can you imagine getting these letters all day, every day from him? The letter also provoked some eye-rolling. Mr. Musk, who leads the electric car maker Tesla and the rocket company SpaceX, is famously mercurial and has often whinged his wheeling and dealing, making his latest gambit not entirely unexpected. So he doesn't want to buy Twitter anymore. And I don't think the board is going to back down and give him a cheaper price because they're locked in, and why would they? And it's going to cost him $1 billion to walk away, but I think that's a good thing. Get him out. He's not really interested anyway. Hey, we got this from our friend Gordon, who is, I guess, in the sloganeering field now for Huel. in direct competition with me and my dispassionate love of Soylent Green. The commissioner said, "Hey, here's a slogan idea. Do we think you'll like it? We think Huel love it." Mwahaha. Huel says brilliant in applause, without any sort of reply from the commissioner. Now, here's the thing with Huel. I used to be a big fan, then their PR people turned out to be just terrible. Liars! But their product is good, especially their RTD. They have always had a problem with branding. The commissioner's coming in. Whenever I see a company I'm remotely interested in, I come up with silly stuff like this. Good. They've always had a branding problem because Huel, and I was with them for a long time, so I know all the intricacies and problems that they've had. Huel for them originally meant human fuel. And then they got into some kind of trademark problem with that because some other company, some other entity, some other something, of course, said, hey, that's our name. You can't call yourself human fuel even though you are and it may be. That's our thing. So they went, And so I guess they shortened it to Huel, which nobody knows what it means. It doesn't make any sense. They have a branding problem. So then they try to change it to people who drink Huel are hooligans, which I always found a little bit offensive because they're making a play on hooligan, which is kind of a UK thing for, I guess, a degenerate, and Huel is a UK thing, but I find that's a negative association. I don't like it. I never liked being called a hooligan. Just like, as I've discussed here on the live stream before, I cannot bear this woman now who's taking over a lot of the attention in the vegan space by being the slutty vegan. I don't understand what it means. I don't understand what she's trying to do. Who is slutty? She's slutty or veganism is slutty? Either way, why would you want to be associated with that? I don't accept it. I'm not a slutty vegan. I'm not interested in anything she has to do with it. I don't think she knows the term's real meaning of slutty. And if she does, then that's even more unfortunate. And when I was participating in the forum, I always said they should call them Hewlers. But nobody ever liked that. Gordon says, to me, Huel was immediately understandable. But maybe I'm just always looking for hidden meaning in everything. That could be. But they seem to think they have a branding problem with it because that people, other than the commissioner, don't really understand the point of the name. There are weird, vegans. Plenty is one of them, Plenny, which I guess is short for plentiful. That is not an American company. There are all kinds of strange named things. Fuel for Fire is a very interesting one that I like quite a lot. Now the taste is the taste is a little but they're super convenient, and I will say, once you get used to the pretty delicious. Fuel for Fire, you can buy them on Amazon. So it's a little squeeze thing that they mainly point for athletes, but that's okay. If you're not an athlete, you'll still like it. And you just squeeze it in your mouth and you eat it and you swallow it, and then and it's all natural, fruit flavored. And so for one little squeeze, you get 10 grams of protein, which is good. And they make a kid's version too. It's not bad. We ordered it. We ate it. We didn't order it again. But at least I love the name, Fuel for Fire. Now that makes sense. Fuel, human fuel, fuel for fire. We understand what it means. But that's just me. Now we're going to get into a little bit of a complicated situation. And it might seem a little technical. But that's what we do here. As you may know, I am currently in the process of being involved in a Facebook beta test, alpha test, for NFTs, where you're going to be having an NFT page on your Facebook page, and I guess use NFTs as banners and profile pictures, although nothing really seems to be completely determined yet. The test is supposed to begin in or around June 20, which is coming up, which I believe is in some way tied to the NFT.NYC celebration, of which I'm trying to get into. With a press pass, they're ignoring me. I tried to become a presenter. I know it's very late in the time. I would do a presentation on NFTs and Aristotle's Poetics, which I think would be just terrific. But what do I know? They've not responded to that either, which I find very rude. If you're creating something and you want people to show up or express interest in it or offer you something, respond to them. Say, hey, no. Hi, but just don't ignore. And I know they want me to pay $750 to go, and I'm not doing that. So one of our friends that we've been talking about today and last week is Ishita, Soul Curry Art. Now, she sent me 2 beautiful NFTs that I've shared with you here. I love them very much. And the ultimate plan is, I thought, hoped for, maybe when this was all over, that the right thing to do would be for me to come to terms with her to purchase them from her, because I know they are for sale as part of her portfolio. And then send her some money, and then I paid the gas from the test wallet to my real wallet. That was the thought, anyway. Well, I use CoinTracker to help me try to manage my taxable income from these NFTs, in and out. And it determines the price you pay for something, right? By how much you pay for it, the going out of the wallet and then coming in and going out and coming in. Okay, it's all very standard and predictable and helpful. And the idea is with this CoinTracker, when it comes time next year to do your taxes, you just download the information, and certain programs like TurboTax and others, you can just upload it and say, this is my crypto. Losses and gains, capital gains. Okay, love the idea, right? And you're probably going to have to pay a little something to them if you reach a certain threshold. I think if you're over 50 transactions, which is, if it's in and out and you're buying stuff, that's like, 25 transactions. 25 things, let's say, a purchase and a send, a buy and a delivery. And so I decided over the weekend to add to my CoinTracker my test wallet, which has exactly I want to say 5 things in it, but really it's this wallet only seems to see 3. And they are, one of them is the little bit of money I have in there, which I think is like $90, because it only tracks stuff that has value, right? In and out, right? Okay. And the 2 NFTs that were sent to me by Ishita. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, those were airdropped, which means she sent them to me. She paid the gas. I did not pay her anything. And I've done this with other artists who airdrop stuff, and it shows up 0 value because nothing was exchanged. There is no value in an airdrop. The value is in the exchange. I pay you for this, I get that in return. An offer and acceptance, as they say in the law. Well, something weird happened, as I'm going to show you, where my test wallet, as you can see, is up all this money. And I could not figure out why. What's going on? How does my test wallet suddenly have $4,000 in it? It's impossible. So I checked to see, did someone send me some Ethereum by mistake? Did something good happen? What's going on? No, none of that. And it gets even weirder. If I can actually get into the wallet, and I'll show you what has actually happened. It's so concerning. So here in my wallet, this is my regular Coinbase wallet, right? $17. Coinbase Pro, which is Coinbase.com, I have $2, all by design. Then I have my real wallet, my main wallet, $347, yes. My Bitcoin wallet, a massive zero, okay? Here's where it gets so weird. My new test wallet is worth $3,600. What? Now, if it remains like this, for whatever reason this is, I have a gain of $3,600 in my test wallet, which means if things remain the same, I owe taxes to the IRS on $3,600 that I don't have. You think the IRS cares how it's there? They only care it's there. And this was updated 12 minutes ago. So I'm trying to click on this to get more information, and it's not happening. Here we go. ETH wallet. 3,000, right? And here's the thing. This $93 I understand because that's the money I deposited in it. This is what bothers me. 2 transactions. Aha, here we go. The plot is thickening. This is the ETH wallet. Okay, here we go. Receive. Aha, now look at this, dear friend. Look at this, my dear, dear friend. My dear friend, look. Uh-huh. It's an Ishita NFT. Look. Yes. It's the second Ishita NFT. And here's where it gets weird. This NFT, for some reason, has a value of 1 ETH that is currently $1,800. The second one she sent me has a value of 1 ETH, currently $1,800. I do not understand this. This has never happened to me in my long, short history of collecting, selling, and buying NFTs. I do not understand why an airdropped NFT arrives in my wallet with an inherent value of 1 ETH. And right now, $1,800, okay, low. Now, if at the end of the year I don't get this resolved, and ETH goes back up to where it should be, 3,000, I'm going to be on the hook for paying taxes on $6,000 of these 2 pieces that are not selling for 1 ETH. They're each selling, I checked, because you can check this on the blockchain, and these are not one-of-ones. Her one-of-ones sell for about $1,200. $353 is the average for each of these. Okay? So I went to her and I said on Twitter, what's going on with this? Is this, some way to guarantee that I send them back to you? Because if I don't send them back to you or burn them, then I'll be responsible for paying 30% tax on what could be $6,000. Because this is her contract. This is not the OpenSea contract. That's what new artists are doing. They're writing their own NFT contracts so they get a better deal. Okay, well, your contract, your airdropped NFT is showing up in my account as 1 Ethereum. Why? She didn't know. I said, what am I supposed to do about it? She didn't know. So if you go up here and you click on it, information, this is where I think the secret is. Remaining balance, 2 Ethereum, number 14. I don't know what that means, but it appears that, if there are 5 of these, that 2 remain, and that means that there is 2 ETH remaining in the contract, in the series, in the collection. I don't know. We go down here, we'll click on this. Remaining balance, 1 ETH of number 13. I don't understand that either. I send her all these screenshots. She doesn't understand it either. I go over here in CoinTracker, and this only shows up in CoinTracker. In MetaMask, it shows my account is $90. It doesn't show this. But the problem is, this is there. It's being read by CoinTracker. And if CoinTracker can read it, so can the IRS. So I click on this, edit, meow, ignore, I prefer, edit cost bases of the Ethereum. So I chose ignore for both of these, thinking that, if you're ignoring something, and it did, I did it for both, and it put lines through all of this. I said, okay, mistake, crossed out, update the wallet, no change. You can't remove it. I could remove the whole wallet, but that doesn't remove this from being there. So now I'm just a little bit stuck. Because I'm not sure how to get out of this. So this idea I had of, buying these and then sending them to my other wallet seems like a really bad idea now. Because I would be sending myself this tax burden again. Now, it wouldn't be in that wallet, it would be moved to my new wallet, which I don't want. And I love the artwork. I think it's absolutely delightful. I love her work. But now I've learned that if I ever want to buy something from her, and she sells like 5, 6, 7 different places like most NFT artists do, just buy on OpenSea, because everything I've purchased from OpenSea or been airdropped from OpenSea has not had this inherent attached value of heavy-duty Ethereum. Ian Jones airdropped me something from OpenSea. I checked his, looked at the contract, it's the OpenSea contract, value 0, estimated value 0, 0, 0, 0, that's what it should be. And then when this is over, I go to Ian and say, do you want me to send this back to you? Do you want me to burn it? Or should I send it to my other wallet and make a deal with you and pay you what you owe? So that's not a problem. Commissioner Gordon sent me something, airdropped it to me, cost him a little bit of gas. OpenSea contract, not a problem. Value 0, 0, 0 everywhere, as it's supposed to be. Sabet, my Sabet, has airdropped us stuff as part of deals. Ian Jones airdropped me something because he was having a special. If you bought 2 of his pieces, he'd send you a 3rd one for free via an airdrop where they pay the gas. Not a problem. Sabet arrived, 0 value, airdrop. Ian arrived, 0 value, airdrop. So there's something very weird going on with this. So the only thing I can think of right now, if this doesn't get explained or resolved, is when this is over, is I just have to send these back to her and pay the gas. And then if they're not in my wallet and they've been returned, then this $6,000 burden back in her court and not on mine, which I find very disappointing. Because if I'm going to be celebrating this on Facebook, it's going to be genuine, it's going to be interesting. But I asked her, I said, is this, your way of, adding some kind of trigger, some kind of bomb, a time bomb, which people do, to ensure that, I don't just forward this to myself and keep your work. That it means I either have to burn it to get rid of the value or send it back to you. And she didn't know what I was talking about, which I guess is a good thing. Because if that was her plan, she would have said, yeah. What do you think? I'm not in this business to send people free stuff. Which would have been fine. And I said, okay, I know. And then I would have sent it back to her immediately, because if you're going to time bomb something like that, you can say, okay, sure, I'll be part of your beta test. I'm going to send you 2 NFTs. I have a time bomb in them where their value is set at 1 ETH each. So if you don't send it back to me, you're going to be on the hook with the IRS. Fair. And I would say, keep your NFTs. I don't want them. I'll make my own NFTs, do my own test, which is what I'm doing anyway. So so I don't know exactly how this is ever going to resolve itself. I guess the only way to resolve it is for me just to somehow send it back. It is very bizarre. And I wasn't even going to add that wallet to my coin tracker, but I thought, well, as I'm testing coin tracker, it could be an interesting thing. And then I asked her, I said, well, are you using coin tracker? How does this look in your wallet? And she just said, well, I don't, the laws are very different between America and Canada. She lives in Canada. And that didn't sound right to me. So I said, you don't track NFTs in and out? How are you reporting capital gains? And I went and checked, and 2021 in Canada, as in the United States, you're required to report the in and outs of your NFTs. And I went to Coin Tracker and looked and said, hey, do you offer a Canadian version? And their website said, we're working on it. So then I went back and said, well, what software are you using to track your NFTs? Because if you're using something like Coin Tracker, you would see this ETH value popping up in your wallet. And she said she'd get back to me. And that was Sunday. And I have not heard from her again. Perhaps, I wonder, if because she didn't know she had a report in 2021. That's my wondering, because a lot of these artists don't know they have to report this because it's new. And if anything, Canada is more forward-thinking than the United States. So if we're doing it, Canada's usually been doing it, if it's a good thing, for 2 or 3 years. Which sort of looks like that's exactly what was going on. And now we're going to take a very brief blood pressure break and come back and just wrap things up talking about this idea of living in the past. But if I keep going now, we're going to hit a heartbreak with the commercials. I'll do it for you. Back in a moment. And we're back from break. I'm David Boles. This is Boles.tv, BOLES.tv. On demand, BOLES.live. And we've had a wonderful show today, very interesting. Lots of heartbreak, lots of intrigue. Just what we shoot for every day. And so today I just want to end on this thought about living in the past. And people who just can't let go of whatever greatness or trauma that they had in the past. I always try to think of pressing forward. What am I going to do today? What's coming up tomorrow? I try not to think about things that have happened in the past or dwell on them, because what good is it? What's happened, happened. As they say in that wonderful movie Tenet. As the great Saint John the Divine said, the dead don't come back, but sometimes they never leave. And there are a lot of living people I know who haul around dead people. We have a very good friend who spends hours of her time going back in time through photographs, reliving every moment of her childhood, her mother's childhood, her brother and sister's childhood, high school, and scanning these pictures with her phone and posting them on social media. And it's hours and hours and hours of work. I know, because I know how long and hard it takes for you to go through photographs, scan them, and put them online. It's not an invisible process. Now, you can automate it if you have the right software, but this person doesn't have software. Now, this person also has not been very well recently, very sick, not married, never had a relationship, no children. So I understand there is a value in living in the past and carrying around dead memories, nostalgia, if you will, and finding comfort in it. Because if you look at the current life and the future, it's very empty and bleak. But there is something to be said for this forced nostalgia that gets put on your friends based on your perception of reality. I understand people love their mothers and they want to remember their mothers and create shrines to their mothers or other family members or people they miss. Perfectly normal. But when it becomes an obsession, and not a day goes by that you're not posting multiple pictures of your dead family member online and remembering all the good times, it becomes close to something that's a little bit of a psychosis. And then there is on Facebook what I call pity posting, where people know the person is still in the midst of a 30-year-old trauma and is basically non-functional. And so they say, oh, it's wonderful, you're terrific. All these thoughts and prayers, opinion, disingenuous comments, just meant to placate the person. So they'll kind of be quiet and stop talking and stop living in the past. So as cogent human beings trying to have a forward life, you have to wonder, how do you stop and deal with people who are embellished and entwined in nostalgia? And some of it you see presenting itself in these collectors. There's a wonderful show on Sunday nights called Collector's Call, right? I love the show. And it's hosted by Lisa Whelchel from Facts of Life. And she goes around and talks to people who are obsessive compulsive personalities who collect things, Elvis things. G.I. Joe's was the show from this week. Honeymooners. There's a heart surgeon in New Jersey who collects everything from the 50s and 60s. He paid $200,000 for Jackie Gleason's jacket, bus driver coat, from the Honeymooners. A couple of weeks ago, some guy had his whole basement was Doctor Who stuff. And okay, collecting, they're never selling anything, so they are collectors, hoarders. And you wonder what's going to happen to this collection they have based in the past. Hundreds of thousands of dollars of stuff. Who's going to want to see a Jackie Gleason jacket in 20 years? Oh, we're going to create a museum. Okay, create a museum. You have to have staff to run it. You need a building. And you need people to come. Is anybody going to pay $5 to see a car, to see a jacket? I don't know. I would think probably not. But the problem comes when the obsessive compulsive person dies. And all this stuff has to be sold. And the kids don't want it. The spouse doesn't know what it is. It wasn't gotten rid of during the lifetime of the collector hoarder. And so there is no longer an inherent value. And there's a great sadness in that when you watch these shows, especially the Wayne Carini show, Collecting Cars, I think, where he goes and, goes to try to comfort a family and help them sell the 50 cars that Dad collected over his lifetime. And the kids don't know what to do with it. Wayne is getting older, and there's just a great amount of sadness in what was once someone's passion is now lost and has been degraded into something more of an obsession rather than a purpose. And here I am. I have guitars right over here. I have guitars over here. I have 10 guitars. If I died tomorrow, what would happen? I don't know. January would probably give them away for free. Because that's who she is. But I've talked to her, I've showed her, this is the value. So in some ways we're all collectors, we're all hoarders, but there's a fine line between the mania and the normal insanity that goes along with it. And some people collect pencil erasers or other types of things that are all right. But they're not living in the past. There is a tomorrow, there is a future, there is something to hope for. And then there are the people who are lost and who never able to get out of the high school mentality. The best years of their life were in high school. I had a friend of mine. Her father was the head of the fire department. And her mother told her, our high school, which is very blue collar, factory workers, she said, high school is going to be the best time of your life. And I thought that, even that time, I was 16, 15 when I heard that. I said, that is such a weird thing to say to a young woman, that after high school, it doesn't get any better. And I guess maybe it was true. She didn't have a job later. She got married very young, did not go to college. I guess she lived up to the expectation of her mother. Some might say the low expectation of her mother. That the world is not set before you. The world is not yours to conquer. You graduate from high school. Your life is done. You will be satisfied. You will obey. You will move on because it's not going to get better than that. So I guess you can't blame some people who sit there full of pain and distress, and the only place they find comfort is by closing their eyes and dreaming of the way it used to be. Well, that's the show today. I thank you so much for being here. If you have any thoughts or comments, can find me, David, at Boles.tv. If you have any thoughts or comments for the great Jana Marie, find her an email, jana@Boles.tv. On Facebook, we are BOLES. Twitter, superfollow, @David Boles. Instagram, Boles Books. TikTok, Boles TV. And of course, we gave a little tour of our Discord server. It's there, it's open, have fun, go into a voice channel and play music. You can also play music. I have a whole playlist set up. You just go in there and /play, and the Boles bot will take care of you in the Boles Blues music area. Hey, it's Gordon. Are you familiar with the episode of The Twilight Zone, where the person was sad on the train and kept seeing a train stop with a city that looked like it was out of the past? I've watched, I think, every single Twilight Zone. That sounds very familiar to me. But the saddest one, now that you're reminding me, is the woman with the suitcase at the bus stop. And she's waiting for a bus that doesn't ever arrive. And she keeps losing her bag. That was terrifying. But Rod Serling was a genius. That was a terrific, terrific show. Gordon says, and of course, a dark ending. And the acting was spectacularly good. See, back then you had to be a good actor. Today, you know, there are 1,000 things. You can be a lousy actor and get in something. But back then, you had to be somebody. And once you proved you were reliable and a good actor, Rod Serling, you did 2 or 3 shows. I mean, Shatner got his start on The Twilight Zone, and he's fantastic. Most people, the thing look with the thing on the wing is the terrifying one, and that's where he made his debut. But the really good one is where he's playing with the devil predictor in the diner, and he can't make a decision without getting a decision from the ticket. Fabulous. Robert Redford got his start on The Twilight Zone as Death. This gorgeous, beautiful man visiting an elderly woman, and she won't let him in because she knows he's Death, and he says, no, why would I be Death? I'm beautiful. And she lets him in. Devil Diner episode, Gordon says. Yeah, that was... I mean, Shatner is unbeatable in that episode. He is so manic and absolutely believable. And Agnes Moorehead, who played the mother on Bewitched, got her start with John Houseman, Orson Welles. And she has one of the great shows on The Twilight Zone where there's no dialogue, except right at the very end. It's all silent. And she is a woman without a language, at least does not use her voice, does not speak. And she has a broom, and she's being invaded by aliens. And she smashes them with her broom. And it's all her. It's all her acting. She tells the whole story with her body and her screaming. And then she pounds the tiny spaceship, and we learn that, oh my goodness, the spaceship is from the United States. And she's the alien. Beautiful. There's a Civil War episode on the road to, I guess, perdition, the end, and one woman won't leave, waiting for her husband. A husband that never arrives, and she has to go because she's killed too. But she doesn't know she's dead. Jack Klugman did several Twilight Zones. Fantastic. Should do a whole thing on the Twilight Zone. Oh, so many good actors. And so until tomorrow, I wish you a good day, a wonderful nap, and a refreshing time as your soul becomes you. And joy is your everlasting gobstopper. Thank you for being here. I'll see you tomorrow.